for a number of months and almost a year and a half, there were allegations made towards members of the Trump administration that they were, Russian puppets or, unwitting Russian agents.
Traitors. Actually calling the President of the United States a traitor.
Right. And what's clear from the Mueller report and Barr's summary is that the Russians engaged in a systematic information operations campaign inside the United States that was meant to sow societal discord. And their goal was to make sure that we as Americans don't function as a society and our democratic institutions don't function. And now that we know that that was not the case, continuing to push this narrative afterwards is carrying water for Putin. They are literally at this point seeking to further the Russians' objectives.
They have been, in fact, colluding with foreign governments all the while. Their intelligence agencies, the creation of the Steele dossier, Harmeet, they use every kind of contrivance, fiction, and fraud in order to unmask U.S. citizens. We know now that the CIA and the National Security Division of the Justice Department were working hand in hand to spy on American citizens, which is illegal, if I have to remind anyone in the audience of that fact.
That's right. Spy on them abroad and really go out of their way using deceptive tactics really without any evidence. And, we're going to find out a lot more. There's a lot that the public doesn't know yet about this. And I think Americans are going to be shocked beyond how shocked we already are. The Attorney General himself seems to be pretty disturbed about this, and he is the right man for the job at the right time to uncover all of this. So in coming weeks, we're going to see, I think, 3 different Inspector General reports come out on different topics, and they're going to directly implicate not just the top tier of the FBI and, the rotten apples there, not all of them, but just the rotten apples there, but also the Democrats who colluded with them, have tried to frame them. Their anger and their irrational explosions of vitriol over the last couple of days show, to use Herman Cain's word from earlier in your show, desperation. They're desperate. They're cornered. They're like rats that are cornered, baring their teeth. And, I'm praying for us to all come out as a country on the other side with some respect intact for these institutions that have been so degraded by the misbehavior of these Democrats.
Yeah, I concur, as I'm sure you do, with Harmeet on that. But also, I want more than anything. I want the truth, and I want consequences for these people who went after a sitting president of the United States for their own purposes and partisanship.
I agree, Lou. And I think that's the first part of the accountability. And there's a second part, which President Trump has spoken about, but I haven't seen as much coverage of. I know you've mentioned it. And that is the people that were the loudest voices over the last couple of years were members of the previous administration sitting in senior national security positions whose job it was to protect the nation, who knew for 6 months before the election that these activities were taking place. And there has been no discernible action that was taken to do anything about it. And then have the audacity afterwards to push this false narrative.
One of them said, I believe, lamely, he had bad information. Harmeet, thank you. Alex, thank you.
Thank you, Lou.
We're coming right back. Stay with us.